Welcome back, everyone, to another deep dive. You know we love a good mystery. And this one, well, this one has it all.
It does. This story's got a reclusive billionaire hidden identities. A secluded chateau.
Oh, and did I mention murder?
Not just one, but two murders.
Mhm.
It's a real-life masquerade ball gone terribly wrong.
The invitations themselves sound like they're straight out of a detective novel. You've got these black envelopes sealed with crimson wax.
Ooh, very dramatic.
Right. And then there's the promise of a priceless artifact for whoever wins Duvall's game.
It's giving very much treasure hunt.
No,
Not your average party.
not at all. So our story takes place at this isolated chateau, perched on a cliffside overlooking the ocean.
Sounds beautiful.
Oh, it is. Until it isn't. You know, with the murders and all.
Yeah, that kind of puts a damper on things.
Yeah.
The isolation is a key element here, though, don't you think?
Absolutely. It creates this sense of claustrophobia, traps the guests.
Right, and when the murders happen, they realize they're not just playing a game anymore.
So the first murder happens right in the middle of the party.
Talk about a party foul.
The music stops, there's a scream, and they find a man in a wolf mask dead by the fireplace.
Classic whodunit setup.
But here's where it gets interesting. The victim is Peter Locke, a private investigator.
Now, why would a PI be at a masquerade ball?
Right. It makes you question everyone's motives. Was he hired by one of the guests, or was he there to investigate Duvall himself?
And then to make matters even more unsettling, there's a note pinned to Locke's suit.
The game begins.
Selling.
It's like the killer wants the guests to know this is no longer a game. This is real.
You know what I find curious? The host, Victor Duvall, is completely absent during all of this.
Now that you mention it, he's nowhere to be found. It's like he's orchestrating everything from the shadows.
Like some kind of puppet master.
And as if one murder wasn't enough, there's another.
Oh, no.
This time, it's a woman in a silver fox mask, and tucked in her pocket is an ace of spades.
The Ace of Spades. It's such a classic symbol in mystery stories.
I know, right? What do you make of it?
Well, it could be a simple clue, or it could be a red herring. A deliberate misdirection from the killer to throw everyone off.
You know what else I find interesting? The masks themselves. Each guest had a unique one with a distinct symbol.
Like the phoenix mask with the flame,
Mm.
or the raven mask with the quill.
Exactly. And each symbol is connected to a riddle. It's all part of Duvall's game.
I think those masks are more than just a way to conceal identities. They're part of the mystery itself, possibly even holding clues to the guests' connections to Duvall.
Yeah, it's like he's woven these symbolic elements into the very fabric of the masquerade. And then there's the discovery of secret passages and tunnels within the chateau.
Oh, that's classic. It's like something straight out of a Gothic novel.
Right. The killer obviously knows the layout and is using it to their advantage to move unseen and maybe even dispose of evidence.
This killer's thinking several steps ahead. They're smart, methodical.
And as the guests start to investigate, they find a torn photograph in the library. It shows Duvall with 3 masked figures.
So everyone at this party has a connection to him, some sort of hidden past.
It's like they're all bound by shared secrets. Secrets they'd rather keep buried.
And those secrets start to come out.
The confessions start pouring out. Black. The man in the raven mask reveals he was blackmailed by Duvall. Then Gold, the woman in the phoenix mask, admits she was involved in a business deal that ruined him years ago.
So everyone has a motive. It's like Duvall set this whole thing up to expose them, to reveal their true selves.
It's a fascinating dynamic, right? The masks we wear both literally and figuratively. As the night goes on, their true faces are revealed.
And just when the tension is at its peak, midnight strikes, the masks come off, and Victor Duvall strolls in, alive and well.
Talked about a dramatic entrance. He announces to everyone that he orchestrated this entire game to expose their sins. But before he can reveal the killer's identity,
He collapses.
poisoned. He was poisoned.
So he wasn't the killer after all. This is a game changer.
The guests are in shock. They realize someone else has been pulling the strings this whole time.
This just got a whole lot more complicated.
And then they find another letter from Duvall in his study. It turns out the prize everyone was after wasn't an object. It was the truth.
The truth.
He was keeping a dossier on all of the guests, filled with their deepest, darkest secrets. But here's the thing. The dossier is gone.
Stolen. This changes everything. It means the killer's motive might be something more than just revenge.
Right. They're protecting their own secrets, or maybe they want to use the information against the others.
It's a power move for sure.
And while everyone is trying to process this latest twist, they realize something else is missing. Black. The man in the raven mask has vanished.
Gone without a trace.
Well, not exactly. Before he disappeared, He pocketed a crimson key with Duvall's initials on it.
Why would he take the key? What does it unlock?
It's another piece of the puzzle, another clue to unravel in this twisted game.
It seems our killer is quite the collector of secrets and keys.
And as the sun rises, the guests finally leave the chateau, they pass under the gates, and there it is, a chilling inscription. The greatest masks are the ones we wear every day.
Haunting, isn't it? It's like a reminder that the game isn't really over. The killer is still out there, hidden among them, their true identity concealed by the mask of everyday life.
It's a story that stays with you. It makes you question appearances and motives. It makes you wonder, who are the people behind the masks? What secrets are they hiding? And are we any different? We'll be back in a moment to dive deeper into this mystery. Duvall was the one who set this whole thing in motion, but ended up becoming a victim himself. What are your thoughts on that?
I think it shows just how dangerous this game he was playing really was. He was manipulating people, exploiting their weaknesses, and in the end it backfired.
It seems like he had a pretty firm grasp on everything going on, but then he let his guard down and...
He became vulnerable.
Exactly.
He underestimated just how far people would go to protect themselves and their secrets.
His letter, though, it does give us some insight into what he was thinking, right? He said the real prize was the truth, and he was referring to that missing dossier.
Right. The dossier filled with everyone's secrets. It makes you wonder what he was hoping to accomplish. Was it some kind of twisted punishment? Or did he actually want these people to face their pasts?
Maybe a little of both. He definitely seems like he had a need for control, for exposing everyone else's hypocrisy. But now that the dossier is out there in the hands of someone else...
It completely changes the game. Whoever has it holds a lot of power. They could use it for blackmail, revenge, or even to derail the investigation.
And you know what else really gets me? That ace of spades planted on the second victim.
Oh yeah, the ace of spades. Do you think it was a genuine clue or a red herring?
I'm not so sure. It feels almost too obvious, like the killer is toying with us.
Right. It's like they know we're familiar with all the classic mystery tropes, and they're using that against us.
It's a game within a game. And speaking of games, what about Peter Locke, the private investigator? Do you think Duvall hired him?
It's possible. Maybe he wanted someone to document everything that happened that night. An objective observer. But then why was Locke killed so early on?
Maybe one of the guests panicked, fearing that Locke would uncover something they didn't want revealed. Or it could have been someone completely outside of Duvall's game.
Someone who wanted to stop him. That's a good point. And we also have to consider the different methods used in the two murders. The first was very brutal, a direct attack, while the second was much more calculated with the poison.
Could we be dealing with multiple killers?
That's an intriguing theory. It would certainly explain the different approaches, and it would introduce a whole new level of chaos into what we thought was a meticulously planned event.
And then there's Black disappearing with that crimson key. What do you make of that?
It definitely makes him a much more interesting character than we initially thought. He's not just a guest caught in Duvall's web, he's an active player.
Right. And that key, it's like a symbol of power, a way to unlock something important.
Maybe it leads to a safe deposit box or a hidden room filled with even more secrets. Or perhaps it's something more metaphorical, access to Duvall's inner circle, his legacy.
It's like Black has inherited Duvall's role, the keeper of secrets, the puppet master.
Speaking of secrets, we know all the guests had their reasons to resent Duvall. But Black always seemed to have an extra layer of mystery surrounding him.
His confession about being blackmailed felt almost too rehearsed, like he was hiding something.
Remember those masks and how each symbol was connected to a riddle? What if those symbols weren't just random decorations, but clues to the specific wrongs committed against Duvall?
So the symbols are actually tied to the guest's motivation.
Exactly. It's like Duvall created a visual representation of their transgressions.
Yeah.
Black was wearing the raven mask with the quill. Could that be a reference of forgery? Maybe his blackmail claim was a lie.
That's a great point. So by analyzing the other masks and symbols, we might be able to uncover hidden connections between the guests and their pasts.
It's like those riddles hold the key to unlocking the truth behind each guest's mask.
With every clue we uncover, this mystery just gets more and more complex. The killer is still out there. The dossier is missing. And the game is far from over. The masks may have come off, but the deception continues. It's really quite something. Duvall goes to all this trouble to expose everyone else's secrets, but ends up with a target on his own back.
Yeah, he was playing a dangerous game, and it seems like he got played in the end.
I keep coming back to that crimson key. Black took it right before he disappeared. What do you think he's going to do with it?
Well, it's hard to say for sure, but I have a feeling it's more than just a key. It's like a symbol, passing from one puppet master to the next.
So you think Black is stepping into Duvall's role?
It's definitely possible. He now has access to who knows what. A safe deposit box, a hidden room, maybe even another secret location where Duvall kept more compromising information.
And all those secrets are now Black's to control.
Exactly. He could use them to manipulate people, just like Duvall did.
That inscription above the chateau gates keeps coming back to me. The greatest masks are the ones we wear every day. It's like a warning that even though the masquerade is over, the deception never really ends.
That's what makes this story so unsettling, isn't it? The realization that we all wear masks to some degree.
It's true. We present a certain face to the world, a carefully constructed persona, and sometimes that persona hides our true intentions.
And it's not always malicious intent. Sometimes it's just a matter of self-preservation or fitting in.
But it does make you wonder who you can really trust.
Oh, absolutely. You never know what's going on beneath the surface.
Have you ever had that feeling like you could sense someone wasn't being completely genuine with you?
All the time. You pick up on these little things, a hesitation in their voice, a fleeting expression that betrays their true feelings. And it's in those moments you catch a glimpse behind the mask.
It can be pretty unnerving.
It is. It makes you question everything you thought you knew about that person.
We may never know all the answers to this mystery, but that's part of what makes it so fascinating. It forces us to confront the darker side of human nature.
And to acknowledge the masks we all wear.
We've gone deep into a world of secrets, betrayal, and hidden motives. But it's important to remember that these things exist outside of this fictional world, too.
They do. And this deep dive has hopefully given you some tools to navigate that world, to be more discerning and to question appearances, because the truth is often hidden in plain sight.
It's a reminder to be aware of the masks that people wear, and to be mindful of the masks we wear ourselves.
So the next time you're out in the world, take a moment to observe the people around you. What masks do you see? And what about yourself? What mask are you wearing today?
Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and remember the truth is out there waiting to be unmasked.